Hello and welcome. You're watching Head to Head, and this is Vivica Williams. Today we're talking about cybersecurity. A new virus called VPNFilter recently infiltrated computers all over the world. According to American company Cisco, over 500,000 internet routers were exposed to the malware, and Ukraine is among the main targets of this attack. So how serious are the cyber threats in general to Ukraine, and what can be done to prevent them? To discuss this, we welcome to our studio Cyril Bialo. He's an IT expert. Thank you so much for being with us today, Cyril.
Thank you. Hello.
So first, tell me about this newest virus.
Yeah, that's a virus, VPNFilter, which is actually targeted the Internet of Things and routers itself. And what it is doing actually for the first stage, it's just been uploaded to the router and staying here. The second stage of the virus is like gathering all the information which is going through the router. And the third stage is actually getting all the traffic which is getting through this router. So the problem is really global, but the reason for injuring Ukrainian routers in the most, the biggest part of that is Ukrainian routers, is the problem of probably inside security of our country.
So this virus collects the information that whatever someone's sending through the router. So it's not just on one computer, as a lot of viruses,
exactly.
But it can collect any information that's used by anyone who uses that Wi-Fi.
Exactly, absolutely, yeah. So that's actually the aim to gather the more information they can have.
Is this a new type of virus? Is this something that's been done before?
It has been done before, definitely, but the thing is that the main problem of the first stage was that while you reloading the gadget, the viruses disappears. So now they stabilized this version of the virus, and now it doesn't gone when you just reload your router. So it means that it stays. Yeah.
So before you could reset your router, put in new codes, restart it, and it would delete the virus. But now, even if users reset their router, put in new passwords, that it remains dormant.
Absolutely, yeah.
So how do you get rid of what do people need to do then for safety?
Yeah, first of all, they of course have to do the prevention of the virus getting to the router, right? So for that, the companies and probably the government, they should have the appropriate people working on that, so that these people can actually secure the system from inside. So basically, what's the target of this virus? That's routers, which has the default software, default settings and default software. Once you get a person who is in charge of your internal security, they will change all that stuff within the router, and your router will be secure.
So for the average person, what would they need to do? What should the average person do at this point?
Well, the average person should probably get a consultation from the person who knows about the security. Or another option is actually to get another router, because there is like a list of routers which are under attack. So you can basically check this list. If you have such router, you can check your router. If you don't have,
at this point,
that's okay, yeah.
All right, so this is great to know. So at this point, our viewers and people should check for a list, which probably be easy enough to find within an easy search online, a list of affected routers.
Absolutely.
All right, so and then if we talk on a bigger context, we know that Ukraine has been one of the biggest targets of this threat. So what's being done in general with the government, with the different types of organizations that are more likely to have sensitive information? What is the process going on now?
Well, I believe they are now trying to get rid of this virus by reinstalling the software, reinstalling the routers itself, and hiring probably more specific specialists, right? Because the problem initially of Ukrainian invasion, this virus invasion, was that we didn't really have enough specialists in this sphere, not because we don't have, like in Ukraine, we don't have these people, but because these people just changed their trade or something else, right? Because it was like low paid or whatever. So in this case, we of course have to pay more attention to these guys, and to pay them more money to make them do their job, of course.
To maintain the security.
Yeah.
So if we talk about, I'm trying to pull up that next question. If we talk then generally about what are the general trends now? We look at cybersecurity as a whole. This is a major issue. And a lot of cybersecurity has seemed to be a reactive type in the fact that cyber attacks are often they mutate, they adapt very easily. And a lot of cybersecurity has been reactive. So what are the trends now, or the best strategies that you've seen that countries or companies are putting out to try to be more proactive against cyber threats?
Reactive approach is at all not the best thing, yeah. So that's why, of course, to prevent this kind of stuff, which happened actually with this virus, yeah, people have to pay again their attention to the specialists who are working with that exactly, because the thing is that it's like we are speaking about the let's say surgeons, right? So there are some surgeons in the world who literally take people from the other world, right? So they are just getting them back by making some magic, like in their surgery. And the same is here. I mean, if you just come and get your job done, it's okay. But when you look deeper and try to uncover the problems, which seems to be not connected at all from the first sight, you will do the best job you can do. So the thing is that like people, companies like, let's say, like Amazon or Google, they can hire specialists, I mean, big teams, yeah, to make their clouds, for example, secure, right? And they are, of course, working to prevent that stuff. So, I mean, they are taking into account different things. They have a team, one person can take this thing into account, another this thing,
they have
another
a holistic approach.
Yes.
It's this very holistic approach, not tied to one small kind of thing.
Absolutely,
and also not being I guess, yeah, I could see it's more like preventive long-term care versus just treating things as the problems as they come up.
Of course, yeah. So this approach can help people to cover the problems from the very different point of views, and it will help, of course, to make that like proactive approach.
And so, what is Ukraine doing in this? From what you've seen, what's Ukraine's approach, and how is the country working to better cultivate the type of specialists that are needed?
Well, that's a nice question, yeah, because I've heard about a couple of things which are absolutely unbelievable. I mean, people just making the really simple mistakes on the security, and they get like, you can, for example, one of the holes I personally found with my previous colleague, we could buy the product which was on a site, on a website for 2,500 hryvnias. We bought it for 1 hryvnia. So it's like, you know, like a very big hole in security, because you can buy whatever you want for nothing. And the thing here is deeply depending on the company we're speaking about. So basically the companies who really understand the value of this security, of the level of security, they encourage people to come to them, right? They pay more money, they are getting like more privileges to them, and so on and so forth. And basically, my personal opinion on that is like, people should get money, they bring value. Not like, I want this amount of money, or not like, I can get you this amount of money. So if, for example, I understand that this person can save me millions of dollars, why should I pay him like 1K per month?
Right. It's the case of compensating based on the value that the person brings. And this is, of course, an issue in many companies and governments if they don't understand the need for this, the value. And what do you see with, or do you have some thoughts about what the Ukrainian government is doing, or what's a good way for them to tackle being able to improve cybersecurity?
I believe that this is a talk about the next, or probably over next step, because for the moment we have to, let's say, to restructurize and to digitalize our government first, because like without that it doesn't really make any sense, right? Because, for example, speaking about the, let's say, political motivation of this virus is almost having no sense, because let's say if we're attacking some developed countries, more developed countries than Ukraine, we can let's say damage some systems which are vital for countries. In our country, we don't have such
so like the smart grids, countries that have more smart grids, things that are controlled from central
In our country,
right.
It doesn't literally make sense to do it, right? Because we have like one system per one government establishment, right?
So it's difficult to attack the entire, which is a good thing in some ways.
Security reasons,
right? Not having everything so interconnected. So that works out well so far. So mainly one of the main things what the government can do is, since it's building the system, is to make sure to put in and pay for the specialists for the value. Because when you're building a system that doesn't exist, you have that amazing opportunity now to make sure you pay attention to preventing all of these issues, building in all of these safeguards prior to creating this kind of smart grid. So Ukraine maybe is in a excellent position to learn from these other systems.
It's always great to be in the very beginning, in the inception of something, right? So you can make sure everything is done like you checked it, and so on and so forth. Just the main thing here is to find proper people to do that.
And that's something that Ukraine has. Ukraine has an amazing IT background, and it's just that case of making sure that companies and the government compensate people based on value. And to keep that.
Yeah, we have a lot of talents, a lot of specialists in informational technology sphere, so
there's no reason we can't do it here in Ukraine.
Of course, definitely.
Thank you so much, Cyril, for being with us. And this was Cyril Bialo, an IT expert and a general manager at Crossover here in Kyiv. Thanks for being with us, and stay tuned for more.